Welcome, everyone. Welcome to class number 5 of Waking the Dreamer. And so here we are at the end of our journey, and we've got a jam-packed class tonight. Lots of good, luscious stuff to share with you, including the transmission of the healer's right. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And we get to hear from some people who've taken training with me, including the Introduction to Shamanism course this past fall. And I get to share with you a little bit about the new course and the event that you feel called to it. So glad you're all here. So glad to see you. So because I need the grounding tonight, so I'm going to assume that we all need a little grounding. Let's bring ourselves into this sacred circle. And as I have before, I invite you to visualize and create in the spirit realms, in your imaginative realms, our meeting place, out in nature maybe, or in a big tent, in a field or a meadow. And so just bringing yourself there in that circle and seeing all the others gathered here. Now we've been gathering over this last 4 sessions, and even though we might not have all been together in space and time, many of you have been watching the replays later, we've still all been connected in those realms. In that realm we're always connected, and always connected with everyone on the planet and with the more than human world as well. So in that place of great connection, let's just bring ourselves there. And see in the center of the circle, our sacred fire. Maybe a candle is burning. There's some flowers. And put in the center of that circle something to represent you, something that's sacred to you. Bringing yourself fully here. And feeling the support of Mother Earth, feeling that deep, strong solidity of the Mother. Letting your roots, your energetic roots, go down deep, deep, deep into the earth. And you can imagine yourself as a tree, sending your roots down. Ooh, that's good. Okay, so we're feeling a lot more grounded here now. Good. Nice big deep breath. Just letting anything fall away that you don't need to bring to the circle. Whatever it took to get you here. Any worries or concerns, anything that you can put aside, just with your breath, just letting it go. You can maybe, leave it outside the circle. Let Mother Earth hold it for you for this space and time. And opening your crown chakra for your connection with Source, your connection with the great creator, however you understand that. You can think of the center of the galaxy, the center of the cosmos, the great central sun, knowing that you have your own sovereign connection that is unbreakable with the source of all life. And so connecting in with that. Beautiful. Oh, okay. All right. Now we feel connected here. So we're going to start today with the healer's rite. Now, this rite of initiation is a part of all shamanic traditions, all mystery school traditions have rites of initiation for those who have been called to the path. And this one is, and it might be called by different names and different traditions, but this is the name that my teacher, Alberto, put on this first rite, which is the calling to a path of healing and restoration on the earth. And these, this one is one of 9 rites that I received when I began my learning and following this path with the 4 winds. And it was passed down, it has been passed down by the keepers of these rites in the Andes. And they track their lineage back to the Leka, who crossed the Bering Straits 25,000 years ago, coming from Siberia. And they came down to North America and settled in the mountains in South America. And so this, among them, they brought many wisdom, much wisdom, and many traditions and bodies of knowledge, including that of the healers and the medicine people. So this rite connects you with that particular lineage. And there are different lineages, of course, and throughout the training and throughout the initiation process, you get initiated into and connected with the different lineages. But this one is a lineage of healers from the past. And what this rite does is can heal the wounds of your past and of your ancestors. And it activates the healing power of your hands and allows you to connect with and to call upon this particular lineage whenever you need help or support. So when I got this rite, and through the years of transmitting these rites to others, I've heard stories of how these healers would come in the dream time, and I've experienced this as well, waking at night and feeling them working over me and with me. So they, this connection is something that you call on and that you can access at any time once you've received this transmission. The activation of the healing power of the hands means that anyone you touch is blessed by the lineage and blessed, with their healing wisdom and their healing power. You can call upon them before you go to sleep. You can connect with them during meditation, and they will respond. They will respond. So this is how we've got several people here today who have been instructed, have received these initiations, and are going to be transmitting along with me. Now, the transmission, the actual energy does not come from me. It comes from the lineage. And I am the channel through which it comes. And so I open to be as clear a channel as I can for this energy. And so I invite you to also open, to receive, to let your mind and your body relax and open. And I invite you to sit in a open posture, so with your legs open as opposed to crossed, and your hands upturned, your palms upturned on your lap, on your thighs. Because this transmission and the activations will primarily come into your hands. And so just, getting quiet, and I'm just going to put on some music here. See how this goes. which of course is not working, so we won't have music. Thought I had it working. Technology doesn't always cooperate. So we're going to do this in quietness and solitude, and I'm going to just let you know what's happening, where I'm working as we go through this process. So opening some sacred space here and encompassing you in my sacred space so that you're in double sacred space here now. And so now I'm coming behind you as you're seated there and putting my hands on your shoulders, balancing your energies, balancing the masculine and feminine energy within you, within your field. And so now I'm coming around to the front of you and sitting in front of you with your hands upturned. Connecting with the power of mind and activating, bringing my hands to yours and activating the power of vision and clarity. I'm bringing my hands to my heart center, and bringing to your hands the power of unconditional love, of compassion, or moon eye. Hands to my belly, connecting with the power to manifest, and bringing that to your hands, the power of right action. And now I'm lifting your hands, cupping your hands in mine, your open hands, and for the transmission of this right through the lineage and through me, from the lineage through me. I'm bringing your hands, and you can bring your hands together and bring them to your heart and placing them at your heart. With many blessings on your healing journey. May you receive all the healing that you need and all the support that you need on your healing journey. May everyone you touch be blessed and receive the healing that's needed to bring you back into right relationship with all your relations, with your own spirit. And so be it, and so it is. Okay. So, inviting you back into this space and this time. Thank you. Feel free to write any comments in the chat. You want to put some there about what you sensed or experienced, what that was like. And we're going to move on to the next part of today's class, which I'm very, very honored and pleased to be able to introduce you to some of my students, some beautiful people who have stepped into this work with me, and some really recently, like, just finished up a class with me just at the beginning of December. So they're going to share, how this work has influenced them and how it's affecting them in their lives. So first, I'm going to invite Bev. Bev, are you ready? Are you ready to talk about how shamanism has changed your...
Hi, Allison.
Okay, there you are. So can we put her on spotlight there, Catherine?
All right. And hi, everybody. I was just wanting to say hello and share some of my experience. Thank you for the opportunity. I've participated in classes with Allison now since July of this year. And I've taken part in the course that you're doing right now, Waking the Shaman. And I participated in the 9-week class. So basically what I've taken mostly from this is it's helped supplement my personal journey in recent decades, is to move out of fear and into love. And I've been able to do that on a consistent basis with Allison, because it's enabled me to be able to tune in regularly. I had the support of guides and a class. And what really started me was I wanted to travel. I wanted to journey this year. Well, what I wanted to do was travel, but due to COVID, I wasn't able to. Luckily, the universe provided journeying through shamanism. So that to me was just beautiful. And I got to love journeying. It took me away from the fear that was happening. It provided me an opportunity to speak my truth. I got in touch with my animal spirit, the red fox, and it was such a joyous, joyous thing to be able to foster my relationship with myself. And working with my classmates on that was quite an experience. Um, and I took a lot of skills from that and continue to use them. Another big thing that it did, it helped me in my relationship with my in-laws. Communication, words, their energy, and oftentimes the energy that I have within me might not be at the vibration that I want it to be at when I'm having communication with somebody. I found that with journeying and receiving the various rites, I was able to foster some skills that I already had and expand on those. And as well, I was able to draw upon the confidence that I gained from my studies, from doing my homework, from receiving further resources, from having practice during sessions. And it allowed me to move from a state of, back around April, an in-law and I were having some really serious problems. And there was labeling and judgment. Shamanism allowed me to move away from the judgment and look at it more from a discernment perspective. So our relationship blossomed from passive aggressive to, she expressed to me just recently that she is so glad that I have so much hope in this world. And that just touches my heart. It really does. It truly touches my heart. And that's one of the things that I found in studying shamanism, is that it does touch my heart. It does move me into a space of love and feeling secure with being able to be authentic and speak my truth. And I have the support of so many wonderful people on a similar journey. I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes and just see if I've captured everything that I wanted to here. A couple of years ago, I was in a course, and I just had this feeling that I wanted to learn the codes. And I was like, I don't know what these codes are. And then when I found out that in the elements session that we did in our studies, that the ether holds the codes, if I had any doubt that I was on the right path, that was surely just washed away. I blew that away because I just felt it, that, there is so much wisdom, and having a guide that helps me be safe. It allowed me to journey, and the idea of moving from surviving in this world to thriving in this world is just so, so wonderful. It's so comforting. It's like that favorite warm blanket. And the imagination realm brought me to a place of I am safe, joyful in the journey, love it, tapped into creativity and all the fun, and who doesn't need a little more fun in life? Yeah, I think I've pretty well captured how I feel about shamanism. I'm looking forward to my next class. I've been journeying now for 6-7 months, and I am so looking forward to my next class. I love being a student. I'm curious. My curiosity is being satisfied. I get to study and practice at the same time. Best kind of learning for me. And yeah, a world of discernment and love on a path of shamanism. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Bev. Beautiful. Beautiful to see you blossom. That's why I love doing this work. So beautiful. Thank you. So now I'm going to invite Daniel, and Daniel will tell you also about what drew him to shamanism, how he ended up in my class, and and how he's using it in his personal and professional life. So Daniel.
Hello, hi everyone. Thanks for having me. So I did Allison's courses in the fall, the intro, Waking the Dreamer and Intro to Shamanism. Me personally, I had, I guess in the last years, a few experiences with shamans through sacred plant medicine ceremonies or just a group event where we did journeying. And each one of those events, it just kind of resonated with me. I felt working with shamans, when you meet them and have those experiences, there was a sense of authenticity that they all had. And for me, it just really connected with that. So when I discovered Allison's work, probably through a shamanism group or a holistic health group that she was posting on, I listened to my heart and connected to her work. So I joined her courses. With the courses, a bit about myself. I used to be a nurse. Now I'm an acupuncturist, so I work with people. So I've always had this strong pull to the healing profession, to helping others. So shamanism is just like the perfect fit, for that. And I did had something wake up inside of me with all those experiences, kind of a strong call. Yeah, just I kind of want to explore that. So, and for me, I am a very, I'd say a very mental person, very intellectual. So when you get, you do a Reiki class and you're supposed to feel things with your hands. And for me, it's, if I compare myself with other people, they'll have these visions and experiences and seeing things and hearing things. And I'm just like feeling, a bit of peaceful and calm and maybe a bit tingle in my fingers. But so throughout that process, I've had to deal with that, to kind of basically put the mind aside and just connect with the heart. So with shamanism, since Allison's courses, a lot of the tools that I've actually took and applied in my life, personal life, mainly my spiritual practice, it kind of gave me a framework to work with in my alone time, in my mini ceremonies that I do for myself, and also with my clientele, my patients. Uh, Simple things like consciously opening up a space in my clinic to just create an environment where healing can happen, with my skills, but also to call on the help from other beings. And for me to, when I started doing it consciously, it just brought a feeling of fulfillment that I rarely had in my life. Probably why people kind of seek a spiritual path is to find that connection. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been busy with the holidays and our young family, and I kind of stopped doing it as much. And I gotta say that I did start feeling kind of not an emptiness, but something was lacking. And since last week, I daily started practicing more and more, and it's an instant feeling of connection, And coming from a guy who's very mental and I've had very great experiences, like Bev talked about the journeying, kind of mind-blowing experiences, really, connecting with your spirit animal um, but so yeah, the last this week I've kind of got back into it, and yeah, I gotta say, inside it's a feeling of fulfillment. I guess that's the word that comes to mind. It's just like a complete feeling of connection. You're not alone, and even though don't see it, I don't always feel it, but inside it brings um yeah, for me it's something that's just priceless, basically. So I'm kind of, I see myself as embarking on a path of a shaman, even though if it's just personal work, but I'm open to any possibilities. But for right now, the tools that I got have really been beneficial in my life,
Mhm.
personal and professional.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I can say it myself, but it's so beautiful to hear other people say what reflect back my own experience of, like, I'd come home, right, when I found shamanism. So thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so we've got two more. And so I'm going to invite Doreen, Doreen to come. Doreen, I'd met Doreen a while ago now, but I'll let her tell the story of how we first connected and what her experience has been, how this has played out and changed, the way she is in the world. Hi, Doreen. Go.
Hi, Allison.
Got the floor, the mic.
Thank you. Lovely to be with everyone. I guess I should have these on. Um, I've been led or dragged or whatever. I come from the province of Quebec. I now I was pulled to the island of Newfoundland, which is, for me, a magical rock. And the very first summer I arrived, I met Allison at a women's retreat, along with a multitude of other wise women. And then a little later on, I read her book, Return to Pangea. It's in tatters at the moment. But I didn't decide any of this for I got knocks on the head saying, you must leave. You must leave your cozy little mountain. You must go. And so here I am, and here I have met people like Carolyn and people like Allison and wonderful people. I was a teacher. I retired. Then I became a supply preacher. Always a seeker, always wanting to learn on the spiritual side. But shamanism has always been, I guess, a part of me, but I didn't know it. And I'd just like to share with you something I wrote to Allison before the very first. I took like Bev, and I think like Daniel, I took the 5-course webinar, and then I took the 9-course. Well, I'm not going to find it. I'm not meant to. I was asked to do this afternoon. I've run in tonight, and I'm speaking off the top of my head. Good luck to you all. Anyway, for a while now, I've always been drawn to nature. I'm an only child. I would look for little groves of trees and go and sit in there and dream. But before taking the course, I was drawn to take my shoes off, heavens forbid, and walk naked on the feet, naked on the grass. I'm a tree hugger from way back. I was called to the ocean. I've always needed, in Quebec, I could get to Maine in 5 hours. And I would need to get there twice a year just to sit on the beach and listen to the of the ocean, just breathe with the ocean, breathe Mother Earth breathing. So I've always been drawn to nature. But like Daniel, I'm an intellectual, and I have studied so many courses and taken so many notes that you never tend to read again. And this course was a path of direct experience, where you put down your pencil, although it was so hard for me to take my pencil out of my hand and stop taking notes, but to feel, to really feel, to experience. And I guess that's one of the biggest. There's many things that you do in these courses, and one is just to sit. That was one of the most wonderful. Just sit, stay, kind of like the dog. Sit, stay, and stay there for a good 15 minutes in one spot until you become one with your environment and see what you experience. That's what I need. I imagine you can discern that I need stillness, because it's not my norm to be still. But also, I was a little nervous to take the 9-week course, because I thought everybody knows so much more than I do. I mean, I'm such a newbie to this. But I loved, like, I don't know if you've had breakout rooms where you get to interact with 4 or 5 other classmates, and the support from, and just, learning and being with people from all over the world, some places, Canary Islands and whatnot. It was wonderful. So that sense, and I'm putting together other things I'm taking, the sense of oneness, oneing. And that was a big thing in this course, to put into words that it's all one. You and I and our energies, we mingle, we're all one. That was a big one for me, a sense of connection. But I wrote to Allison saying one time, thank you for taking us. I don't know if you go to her moon ceremonies. If you don't, do. But she often leads us with her rattle to a grove. And she told me, you can go to that grove whenever you want. And I do. I go there a lot. It's my favorite place. And so after one of those sessions, I just felt I could see the other faces around the circle of supportive people of like minds. And so I had to take this course. And I just will tell you one fabulous outcome, because I could go on, as you probably know, forever. And I don't know, I can't see Catherine. She was going to put 3 up for 3 minutes. Anyway, we journeyed. And like Bev, that rattle of Allison's, it transports me out of this realm. And it was an upper realm that we went to. And I'm not going to tell the whole thing, because I'm not sure if you've done it or not yet. But I was led. Oh, I got to tell you about the tree, because I absolutely love that tree. I'm in that tree all the time. I have my own little cave in that tree, and the roots that go to the ground, and the branches that reach to Mother Sky. And I was led up to an energy that felt like the warmest, lovingest, most energy I've ever been near. I felt enveloped by love. And that energy said, I'm your grandmother. Find my name, write it on a card, put it on your altar, and come to me whenever you need me. I maybe backtrack. I've never known on my mother's side anything about her side. She felt like an abandoned child, and that's another whole story. She never spoke of her mother or father. I didn't know. I knew my father's side. I knew nothing of mother's side. So anyway, I started digging after this course, and I have come up with the birth certificate of my grandmother from England. And on that birth certificate, of course, and now I have my great-grandmother's name. So I have a lineage on my mother's side, and her name was Ellen. And I also do work with divine feminine goddess kind of stuff. And we just were working with Ellen of the Ways, who gives you a path through life. And I found this path. It's so synchronicity, coincidence? No, there are no coincidences is the name of a book, right? I was led to this island. I was led to Allison. I was led to these experiences that have led me to my ancestry and led me to a deeper love of Mother Earth and a wish to be more careful and more thoughtful as I tread on her path. I don't know, Catherine, if that's my 3 minutes. I mean, I could go on. But if you're thinking of taking the course, I'd certainly recommend it.
Well, thank you, Doreen. I just love listening to you. Great storyteller. Thank you. Thank you for leading me down some of the path that I hadn't heard some of those parts of your story. So beautiful.
Some of them are very recent, Allison, very recent. Yeah, since our 9 weeks together.
Thank you, Doreen.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so one more. We've got Dee. Now, I've known Dee for quite a while, since before I moved back to Newfoundland, and I've been here. This is my 9th year now, so Dee and I go back a long ways, but I'd love for you to hear Dee's story. I'm not sure what she's going to share with you today, but I know it'll be good. So Dee, here, you've got the mic.
Mute. All right.
There you
Hi,
are.
everybody. Thanks for having me, Allison. And oh my gosh, well, as Allison said, we've known each other a while. Started actually with a friend of mine here in town, in the small town of Stephenville, Newfoundland, and started getting Allison to come do moon ceremony. And wow, it was like, okay, this just, turned on a whole new way of putting things, getting rid of things that you no longer want, inviting things that you want. It was very empowering. And actually what happened was we had one ceremony. I actually called Allison to come because my girlfriend was really sick at the time and nobody knew what was going on with her. We were just so scared. So, and I coincidentally at the same time, I was really searching myself for something deeper. I'm a healer. I am a social worker by trade. I've been practicing for many years. And, but I was really feeling I wanted to do more work on a spiritual level, be more of a healer on a spiritual level. I didn't know what that meant. But anyway, this one full moon where we had my friend who was ill and I was calling in her healing, but also calling in something that I wanted to do. And oh my gosh, like 5 o'clock in the morning, Allison's up, awake. And I'm like awake early in the morning too, waiting till a decent time to call her to say, oh, I have to see you. I don't know what it is, but I have to see you. And she's like, I have to see you too. And it was like, oh my God, Deanne, I've been working on this course and I need to do it here in Stephenville. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I'm looking for something. And both my friend and I, we signed up for the course right away. And I guess we were the first ones to actually experience Allison's shamanic healing practitioner course. It was very intensive. We did it over a period of 4 months over the winter, which was just a feat in itself. I don't know how it all happened, but there were 7 of us across the island. And that just led to humongous transformation in all of us. It was just a time of amazing personal transformation, but also transformation of others that you worked with. And we learned all the skills in a very intense period of time. And it just transformed me completely into a person actually that is practicing shamanism as a way of life. It's become a way of life. I do moon ceremonies every month. Always do full moon. I've never missed one. I don't think I have missed one since I've done my work with Allison, and sometimes I do moon as well if it calls me. I also have a practice. I work full time, so it's a kind of a short, very part-time practice, but I do illuminations and soul retrievals and whatever people are called to come and do with me, because I really don't advertise. I just, people get to know, and they hear word of mouth, and they just, and it's amazing every time, because you have so many allies, and you have all of that person's ancestors that are just wanting that person to heal. And when that person wants to heal, it's just amazing. I'm can't tell you how gratifying it is to help someone heal, just to create that sacred space where that can occur. It's just fascinating. There's other elements too. I can go on. I've done journeys groups with. I have actually a core group here in Stephenville. They come to all my moon ceremonies that I host, and we also go on journeys. And through those journeys, actually, recognized areas in my own community that really needed healing. We had a horrific loss here a little over a year ago. A gentleman got electrocuted on the mountain here, and it was profound what happened. Myself and two of my group members came with me, and because I was led to that mountain to do a healing ceremony for the women actually who were grieving the loss of this young man. And it was profound what happened. It was just absolutely mind-boggling. And we got up to the top of the hill, and here was because I didn't know where to have this ceremony. I said, well, Spirit will guide me, because that's what happens. You don't need to know. Spirit's going to tell you loud and clear, and they're going to use whatever medium that is available to do it. Got up to the top of this hill, and I said, I think it's going to be over this way. Let's go over this way, because we can see the bay. We'll do an offering, we'll do a prayer, and we'll do, open sacred space and offer healing to whatever we can. Anyway, we get up and I go towards the spot that we were looking at for. And here is a cross, a literal cross made of electrical poles. Like, I kid you not. I was looking at my partners that were there with me, and we were just like, oh my God, like this is the spot. It's just stuff like that. You can't make it up. You just can't, it's just, and I don't know. My world's not the same. I'm not the same. I don't think I want to go back to what I was before. Not saying that I wasn't a real full person, but I just, I think back only 2 years ago, I did that course, and my whole life is transformed. And I'll be forever grateful to Allison steering me in that path. And I'm very grateful for you wanting to listen to my story now. And I hope it inspires someone to, to have that calling as well. It's not for the faint of heart, but it is so rewarding. And life will never be the same, but it is just so exciting and invigorating. And like I say, when you're not doing some of this kind of work, life is kind of boring. But this is it's a way of life. It's become a way of life. So I invite you to take that path. If it's calling to you, you'll know. All right. Thank you for listening to me. Mm-hmm. And thanks for being open to accepting the healer's rights that we've offered to you this evening as well. They were very powerful. I don't know if you felt it, but I certainly did. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For sharing. And you're so inspiring to me. And listening to each of these people tonight, thank you, Bev and Daniel, Doreen, and Dee, is why I do this work. Because, as Dee says, it's in some ways not for the faint of heart, but if you're called, and there are times doubt has been my friend, and walked besides doubt and fear for a long time. And it's experiences like this that, and connections with people like, like all of you who are here tonight, is what makes this work so worthwhile and so satisfying. I mean, I could just, say, that's it now. I know we have still some time, another half hour to talk, but I could listen to the stories, and there have been many, and including in this class, I've been hearing from you. You've been sharing on the Facebook page, how this is affecting you, and what you're getting from it as you dip your toe in, which is what we can do in this 5 week. But so trust. I would say it's about trusting your own experience and trusting your own knowing, if this is something that's calling you to go forward at this time or not, right? To make that discernment. So my desire for community, to be connected, because I never felt like I fit in. It was like, I didn't know how I ended up in my family. Um, and I've heard some of you sharing some of the same kinds of stories, looking for my place, who were my people, right? And shamanism is what did that for me. It's what opened the door to these very deep and satisfying and long-lasting connections. Um, and of course, like some people have shared here tonight, my connection with the earth was very strong, with Mother Nature. It was what got me through a very difficult childhood. And so I can really relate to Doreen's story about, the trees being her friends. I had my special places wherever I lived, and I moved a lot. Um, it would be finding those special places, in the trees, my little hideaways that I could go, and the water always calling me, and the ocean calling me. And so wherever I was, when I needed solace, when I needed comfort, it would be to turn to nature. So, so that was that's what brought me to shamanism. And I keep this desire to see the bigger picture, to go broader, to go bigger, to go higher, to see and understand, get some meaning and perspective. That always called me as well. So the studying of ancient cultures and the prophecies about this time that we're living in, really called me. And I knew that, there was some part of me, that little quiet voice that said, you've got a part to play in this. There's a reason why you're here now. There's a reason why you're called to these ancient traditions, and to know and to connect with, my own ancestral lineage, right? And I tell this story in my book, Return to Pangea, which you do get as part of the Introduction to Shamanism course. I give you a copy of that book, and we do connect with my story, so you can find your story as well. So finding my right place, what it was that made my life worthwhile, as I've told you and many of you know, I was on an academic path. I mean, talk about, living in the mind and through the intellect, and getting to know the world, through other people's, stories, and through science and all of that. I mean, that was the path I was on, and it was so empty. I kept, in my spare time, I would be taking workshops, reading whatever I could get my hands on. So, right, those fascinations that pull you. So the joy, though, that it comes back to me is the satisfaction and the joy of initiating other people and helping other people awaken to the gifts, the capacities that we all have, the capacities of, our instinctual wisdom, our intuitive knowing, our imagination, the power of our imagination, and the gift that is, that has gotten suppressed and denied as not important. Oh, that's just your imagination. How many of us have heard that, right, in our lifetime? So, reclaiming all of those and bringing back those powers that we have, that's innate to us, it's in our DNA, right? Activating that. And that we're not alone. We were never alone. We're not designed that way. We are actually part of this, great spiritual being, this one consciousness. And so we never have to feel alone or separate again. That was such a gift for me. And when I started to feel that, like, and know that, and my cells started to resonate, could feel that vibration. It's a visceral, physical feeling, right? When you reconnect again. So, what can I say? Healing the earth and healing and doing my own spiritual healing, helping others, transform, come back into some sense of peace and getting, relief, as Dee talked to, that, how satisfying and fulfilling that is. And of course, it's our own personal healing we start with, right? This is a path of direct experience. And so, going as far and as deep as you are called is what this path is about. So, so in this 9-week course with me, some of the outcomes, and you've heard others talk about this very eloquently and much more articulately than I could, about finding and realizing your place in the creation, feeling that you're doing what it is you came to do. That that's part of what awakens in people. I've found, and those what I call the divine feminine gifts and wisdom, right? Of your intuition, of your instinctual knowing, that body, cellular knowing, your imagination, awakening, your feelings, your feeling nature, which for many of us has gotten shut down and really constrained and restricted, all of that, connecting with the nature, with nature's wisdom, and being able to read those signs, those synchronicities, like Dee said, they just show up, and all of a sudden you see those things, and you know that this is a sign that nature put here for you, and has been communicating with you all along, and we've just not been aware of it. So opening up to that divine feminine that comes through the earth and comes through other people, and where we realize that we're just in the perfect place at the perfect time to see it and to open to it. Beginning to realize how everything that's happened to you, and we all have our stories, right, and our wounded pasts and the burdens that we've been carrying from our ancestors and from our karma, from previous lifetimes. But realizing that is actually, there are gifts there, that's actually serving to bring you to the next step and to the next stage. We begin to transform our wounds into wisdom and into power, to reclaim the power of those wounds, and begin to source directly from nature, and to be able to connect and open to the power and the healing power that's there. And so, those times, like Doreen talked about, going and just sitting, in nature for 20 minutes, that can be a real hurdle. But when you settle into it and surrender into it, it's like, wow, it was here all the time, right? All this power and all this connection. And activating the multidimensional awareness that we all have. We're hardwired for it. And we've been perhaps using it and not realizing it. So making all of that conscious, and then, how to shift your state so that you can take those journeys, that, that becomes easier and easier with practice. Again, we're hardwired for it. It just has to be activated. That's all. So you can remember. And so and then of course, the connection with people of like-mindedness, our soul tribe. I mean, there's just nothing sweeter than that. And being able to recognize and to just, nurture those connections, as you've heard, Dee talk about, and again, depending on if it's for your professional life, that you want to bring those tools and practices into, and ultimately for our personal lives. I mean, that's where it starts, right? It has to be for ourselves and for our own sense of happiness and connection and meaning in our own lives. So there's some of the outcomes. What else do I want to share with you right now about the 9-week course? So some of the topics we've covered in this 5-week course together: animism and multidimensionality, ritual. And so what we do in the 9-week course is we go deeper into all of those. We don't repeat those, but we go deeper into each of those topics, practicing specific practice for transcending this, duality, and also the level of mind, going beyond that, expanding our consciousness, looking at how we can practice this to clear our luminous energy field, um, to heal and our relationships and build relationships with our spiritual allies that we, may know and have some experience with, but really deepening those connections with the spiritual world, with those spiritual allies. And we go into some new topics. And some of those topics include the medicine wheel, working with, what the medicine wheel is. I know Doreen loved that. So expanding, our understanding of what we're dealing with here. This is like an energetic field of creation, right, that we step into. And as Daniel has said, learning, why and how we open sacred space, what that's really all about. Doing some deep ancestral healing, really stepping into the healing of the ancestors and learning why that's so important right now, especially to be doing that healing work with them. And connecting with the elemental realms. Also there's so much and it's so rich, and even in this 11 weeks, again, we're going a little deeper and delving, widening our experiences, but there's always so many more levels to go to. And you receive the next initiations on the shamanic path. So you get all of the four foundation rites on the path of the shaman healer. So we continue to work with others, and in this course we will be building the relationship, building the tribe, and you get to, as you already have been invited into the moon circles, so that you can, again, another way to start coming into relationship with the natural world and with Mother Earth's natural rhythms and cycles, and with the cycles of the heavens, the solar and the lunar cycles. So, beginning to build those connections, right, week by week and day by day, living the shamanic path, stepping into it. So connection with others, really, really important. And we're realizing that, the path of the new earth, the way of the new earth, is not do it yourself. That time is done. That time is over. We are now moving into community and connection with others. And the path forward is all about, those connections and building those communities of like-minded and with our tribe. Not saying that we all have to be alike, just because the like-minded has to do with our readiness to step into a new way and into a higher frequency of connection than we've had before. So that, when we say like-minded, it doesn't mean that we're all alike, because we're all perfectly unique and different. And it's that makes it so rich and creates a nice tapestry. You think about, weaving a tapestry, and you want brilliant colors. You want all different colors, right? That have a harmony and a beauty and a texture. And that is what we're doing. It's not about all being the same. This is about being our unique, sovereign selves, and finding out how we can work together and harmonize with each other, like a beautiful choir, which Doreen also happens to be in a choir, and she brings that energy. So it's another way to explain how we know it's about the harmony, isn't it, Doreen? It's all about the harmony, right? And creating beautiful new songs together, right? So singing our own unique song and how that blends and can harmonize with other songs, in the choir. So I'm preaching to the choir here now.
Even through a mask.
Right. Now that's a challenge. Okay, so what else? I'm going to open up to any questions anyone has, but before I'm going to end up by with telling you about the bonus, and Catherine's going to be putting the link in the chat box here, and I let you see the sales page last week, but said don't register because the link for the $200 off, which is an exclusive bonus offer just for the Waking the Dreamer. So if other people, anybody can register, but they won't receive this this additional bonus that you're getting tonight as attendees and registrants and participants in this 5-week course. So that special link will be in the chat box, and also will come in the follow-up email tomorrow that has the replay. That special offer for you will be in place until Sunday, which is January the 3rd, so this coming Sunday. So I suspect that, if you're here and if you've had the call and you're feeling it, you'll know if this this next 9-week course is for you. It starts on January the 11th. It's on Monday nights at 7 Eastern, the same time that we've been meeting. And even if you can't be there, you will have the replays, but ultimately you're going to want to be there because of all the other rich opportunities for working with other people in the course, that when you can be there live. That's how you're going to get the most bang for your buck, really, because there's so much richness, as people have spoken to, when you can have that connection with other people and get to know other people in the class. So I'm certainly open for any questions that you might have. Catherine, how are we doing? Anybody got questions or anybody that have comments?
I don't see any so far. I did put the link in the chat. And I know you're excited, but our class was completed 8 tonight. So we've had some people drop off. I know the other class is 90 minutes. So I just wanted to remind you that we completed at 8 tonight, or at the top of the hour.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right then. Well, I was going to say, I sort of lost track of time. I was so thank you for telling me that. And so for those who are still here, then I'm going to leave you with a poem. I'd like to read a poem, and it's a poem that is close to my heart, and it's by Will Ash Bacon, and this is a poem. It's up to us to re-enchant this planet Earth. We are the elves and the giants. We are the shining ones, daughters of the moon and sons of the sun. We are the shapeshifters. We are the mysterious light shrouded in mist at the dawn of our time. And it's up to us to re-enchant this living planet Earth. It's up to us to break the spell that steals the colors from the world and leaves it lifeless. It was our spell. We can break it. It's up to us to break the spell that steals the music from the wind and rain. It was our spell. We can break it. We shall dance the magic dance, and our bodies will remember. We will sing the magic songs, and together we'll remember how to live together, how to love each other, how to ride the eagle, how to call the deer home. Many blessings on your journey. Thank you for sharing this last 5 weeks with me together. And I hope our paths cross again. With much love and thanks, gratitude to everyone who made this happen. Thank you to Catherine and to Dee and Doreen and Bev and Daniel and to Gail and Kathy and Carolyn and Marie, all of you. I hope I haven't missed anyone. All of you helped hold this space and made this possible and have supported me and this work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much love. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Allison.
Good night.
Good night, Allison.